Hi, my name is Tara Kachaturoff, and I'm the host of Michigan Entrepreneur, where we feature businesses from startup to stellar. Today, I have as my special guest Tom Borg of Tom Borg Consulting. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tara. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's great to have you here today, and we're going to be talking about business marketing. I know a favorite topic of yours and mine. But before we jump into that, why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm a business consultant and I work with a lot of small and mid-sized businesses. And my key result area is working with clients in the area of leadership, communication, and culture. So, in a nutshell, helping them solve their people problems and helping their leaders excel.
All right. And we've had you on the show before to cover a number of different subject matters. And today we're going to be focusing on business marketing because that is something we all have to do all the time. And we're going to specifically focus on different ways to accelerate that marketing to get maximum results. So to kick it off, could you share three strategies that might be helpful to somebody to generate new ideas for their business? Because we always need new ideas, and sure, we can go to Chat GPT, but what ideas do you have?
Well, I think one of the best ways to start is to do something called the 21 ideas approach, where you sit down with a pen and paper or you're in front of your computer screen and you ask yourself the question, okay, how can I generate more business? And with that, what's the first idea that pops into your mind? You just write it down. I don't care how crazy it is. It might be uh, get a get some celebrity to be your spokesperson. I mean, it doesn't matter how crazy. Just start writing the ideas down, and it's going to be hard in the beginning. You'll get a couple of them; they'll come quickly, but that gets a little bit more difficult, and you keep pushing at it. But if you can get up to 21 ideas, this will serve as a at least a starting point for some ideas that might spring from those original 21 ideas. So that's one. That's one method. Another method is certainly to, and we'll talk more about this in today's program, but you've got a great client base to begin with. Those are the people you should be talking with. You should be calling them up. Hey, how's it going? What's been working in your business? What's not so good? So have that continual conversation with the people that you have already acquired as clients because they're the source of repeat business, which is the most that's the least expensive way to get more businesses going back to your present client base and
Hmm.
asking for referrals. You know, constantly making that part of your approach to dealing with your clients. Say, you know what, over the next several months as we work together, I'll be asking you for some referrals, people you feel that I could help the way I've helped you. So plant that seed up front, and then from time to time, just remind them, hey, by the way, who else might you know that I could help the same way I've helped in the way I've helped you? So that's the key, I think, is to just work with the base you have. Too often people want to go out and we'll talk about this later, they want to advertise to the universe. Well, that's not the best use of their money for sure.
You know, I love that 21 ideas thing. And I know you brought up that thing about the celebrity kind of idea. A couple weeks ago, somebody I know went to a site called, I think it's called Cameo, not sure. And he actually got Boy George to create something for one of his clients. And he sent it to the client. It was unbelievable. I was like, isn't that Boy George? And I couldn't even believe it. It's like, what?
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
can
that's
do
great.
different things out there now that I don't think they can endorse businesses, but they can do certain things. They could say, hey, Tom Borg has a new service offering. I mean, people would be stunned. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's a fantastic idea. And I love the idea of just going back to your clients. How many things have been born out of the next problem your client has? Digital
Yes.
products, consulting gigs, physical products, events, retreats, all of that coming from just talking to people about what they would want.
Hmm.
And I know even you and I had talked about you doing retreats at one time. And it was just out of a conversation. We were talking about how people just want to go somewhere nice. They want to be away from everything, but they want to focus on their business.
Hmm.
Well, a retreat. Perfect answer. Love those ideas, Tom. Those are fantastic. So, one of the key things about business marketing is having that 12-month marketing plan, and a rolling 12-month, not just 12 months falls off the planet and then we have to start over, but it should be a rolling 12. What are some key elements that people should have in a 12-month marketing calendar?
Well,
And everybody should have one, number one, but
yes. Yes, and I first learned about this concept from J. Conrad Levinson, the man that authored the Guerrilla Marketing Strategy book series. He had so many of them. Well, and as he explained it, it's a standard approach to marketing, and that is first thing you gotta do, get yourself a 12-month wall calendar. I'm looking at mine on the wall right now. 12-month wall calendar, so you can see everything right in front of you. Right? It can't be behind a closet door where you're not going to look. It's got to be someplace visible. And you get this 12-month calendar and go back to that list of 21 ideas that you wanted to use, or some ideas that you've used in the past, or new ideas that you've generated that you could plug into that calendar over the course of a year, right? So that's the first step you want to do, is get that 12-month calendar, and then get the number of marketing strategies you want to implement over the course of the next 12 months, and that's the place to begin.
so do you think that when you're looking at marketing strategies and putting them on the calendar, do you think you should change it up every month, or should you just be working one strategy and just keep it solid on that track for the whole year?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's something like your website, well, certainly that should be up there every week, right? You need to update it from time to time, your website, but that should be part of your marketing strategy. Other things are going to be seasonal, right? So, for instance, if you're in, say, the landscaping business, one of the things they are going to be doing is, getting their information out early on, like January, February, March, before the season really starts. So that's where they may do a major push to get their clients reacquainted with their services, or to be using their marketing strategy to attract new clients. So it could be seasonal depending. It could last the entire year. It just depends. According to the experts, you shouldn't really settle in on a 12-month plan until maybe 3 years have passed, 3 years, because you're constantly tweaking it. And even then, after 3 years, you're going to be tweaking it some more. So it's something that's very malleable, and you can. What approach I tell my clients is, you want to use the approach where you just try it out. I call it the TMET formula. So if you have an idea, okay, let's say a marketing idea, we're going to run this in February, and we're going to call it the Valentine's special or something, where you try it out. Then M, that's the acronym M, would be measure the results. And then E, well, first try it out, measure the results. Then the next E is evaluate. Well, how did it work, right? Last year we didn't do anything. This year we did that. What was the increase in sales? And then the last T for the team met, then you either tweak the idea, make it a little bit better so it works better, or toss it, tweak or toss. So again, that formula, T met. Try the idea out. M, measure the results. E, evaluate. Was it good or bad? And then the last T, tweak it or toss it. You can't go wrong if you keep trying ideas out and evaluating them in that way. So back to that idea of the 3 month or the 3 year strategy, you really are going to give it 3 full years to give it an honest assessment and come up with a strategy that's going to work for your 12 months. But even then, it can change some more.
And with things changing so quickly, and like now we have TikTok as another item in the mix, we have to make sure we integrate all that into our a marketing calendar if that's going to be something that we're going to pursue.
Hmm.
By the way, I know you're really very keyed into the corporate space in some aspects of the work you do. Any of them going out on TikTok, or is that pretty much still out there for corporate? Is it something anybody's embracing?
Certain areas embrace it more than others. As far as at the corporate level, I'm not that familiar with them embracing it 100%. They may have pockets of organizations that are doing that, but I can't really answer that. Don't really
All
know.
right. All right. So also one of the things that goes hand in hand with a marketing strategy is if you are doing a newsletter, and of course that's going to have to be on the calendar. And people are doing them some weekly, some monthly, some on another kind of schedule. Any tips on people who are doing newsletters? Do you think they still hold value for organizations? I mean, I'm talking even the smaller, mom and pop or small one-person entrepreneur to obviously larger organizations. Do you still think there's value in them? I love them, but that's me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's like everything. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want to. I have some people that send something out every other day. I don't want that stuff every day, every other day. But some people are successful doing it once a week, or once a month is good. But you want to do it on a regular basis. That's the key. Be consistent and have value in that information that you're sharing. In some way, it's going to help that person uh, maintain their business even better, give them some new ideas. But it just can't be some commercial, right? About, hey, buy our product, we're so good. It should be something that's of value to those people that will open the newsletter and actually read it, or at least acknowledge that they receive something. Because again, if they don't see that you are out there and they're not reminded that you're out there, they're going to forget about us. They're going to forget about you because it's just how it works. They're focusing on their business, their problems. So we need to gently remind them from time to time, hey, we're here. Here's something that may be of help to you. Hopefully that's going to help. Then give us a call when you need some additional help.
And in the newsletter, I guess even to add value is having something downloadable that they can enjoy, some sort of a PDF, a very short audio resource, a tool, a tutorial. People always want to learn how to do something new, and
Hmm.
you can do that for pretty much any business. Even if you're in the landscaping business, you could send somebody a little tutorial on how to get your everything prepared before we come to your home
Hmm.
to
Sure.
work on your lawn. I mean, anything like that can really be helpful. Also, even sharing customer stories with their permission.
Hmm.
Um, because you work with businesses, and if you're promoting somebody else's business, I mean, that's great for everybody while telling the story of how you worked with them. So that's a good
Absolutely.
material there.
Yes.
Um, Now, when we talk about advertising, people, I mean, can think of all different kinds of things. It's almost a word that we don't really use anymore, but what are some ways of businesses can advertise or things that they should be using or consider using right now when it comes to promoting their business? And they could be free or paid, but what are some things that you think are effective for the small entrepreneur?
Hmm. Well, I think when it comes to advertising, let's think about that for a second. I think it was somebody famous once said 50% of advertising works. Problem is, which 50%? Too often people will say, well, we're going to throw some money into advertising and they want to get it out to the universe, right? And that's everybody and anybody, right? Like Super Bowl Sunday, it's everybody and anybody. So that has been proven to be one of the least successful ways of marketing your business, and that is to advertise to anybody and everybody because they're not everybody and anybody's not a prospect. So second set are qualified prospects. That's who we want to target, right? People that have been you've looked at the research and you've quantified these or qualified these people because maybe their incomes or maybe their occupations or the type of business that they own is something that would benefit from what you have. So that's a qualified prospect. But the third area that we want to really focus our time and money on, the 60%, is going to be present and past clients. Present and past clients. Remember, each person has an influence of approximately 200 people that they can influence to be thinking favorable things about your company. So again, back to that formula. It's actually 10% to the universe, right? And then we're going to do 30% to qualified prospects, a prospect list, et cetera. Maybe it's a magazine that's strictly for homeowners and you're a remodeler. So you want to get that information about your company in front of people who are potentially looking at doing some remodeling or building their own home. But the 60%, that's the last part of it. That needs to go to people that already know us, like us, and trust us. It's too often we just assume it's kind of like a good marriage that's kind of gone sour, right? When we're first dating that person, we're spending a lot of time with them and really pleasing them and going out of our way to be nice. And then after we get married, we kind of take them for granted and we kind of even forget about them sometimes. So, again, back to this business of where you want to spend your time and money, 60% of the time, present and past clients.
It's funny I love that formula, and it's so interesting because how many times have we heard people when we're talking to them say, I really need some money, I need a cash infusion right now, I need some stuff to be moving in my business, but they never once think about the people that they've already worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's right there. It's the low-hanging fruit. It's the easiest thing to go back and um, go back to those same people. And interestingly enough, the people that really support a business are kind of the same group of people all the time. I mean, there's the people, once they love what you do, they keep coming back for more. I know that with one of somebody I've worked with in the past, there's just about 150, 200 people who consistently have bought from this person over the 20 years. The same
Yes,
people
sure.
over and over have been supporting her business for about, a long time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fascinating when you think about it, but once people love you, they love everything you do in many ways. So I think that's really, really important. And one thing you talked about is really like, having kind of a niche and knowing the people you want to advertise to. And of course, people who work with Facebook are able to do that because they can dial into those certain populations
Mm-hmm.
and get lookalike audiences of, the characteristics of your current people you're working with and really
Mm-hmm.
dial in the advertising. And still things can go off the rails, depending on what's going on with their algorithm at the moment. But um, there's so many different ways to dial into the people we want to work with, and
Mm-hmm.
also platforms like maybe you want to advertise on LinkedIn because your ideal person's there, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
you want to just be local. I mean, people like to support local businesses. There's a
Yes, they
whole
do.
bunch of people who don't really want to go outside their community. They want to keep it going and generate activity within their own community. So getting involved with chambers and on, that kind of thing. I mean, it's all that kind of community stuff can really, really make a difference. But yeah, I
You.
love your formula 10, 30, 60. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
works. Um, so I think we kind of talked about this, the number one method that businesses can use to sell more of their products and services. Actually, did we address that really? The number one method? I know the number one
Well,
people
I
love
think we
pursue
talked
is
about a bit, but
current.
going back to your present and past clients, though, that's the number one method I would recommend. And it's
Yeah.
too often we take them for granted, so that's why it's important to remember that.
So one of the other things, we've talked about in the past is customer service and things around customers. But when we look at customers, what do they really want from businesses? What do they want from businesses and how can we get that to them?
Well, I think the main thing they want is a business relationship, a business friendship with the people they buy from. So what that means is to answer a few of those questions, and we might have addressed these questions before in other aspects of other discussions we had, but there are four questions our customers have for us or our clients. They want to know the answers to these questions. They're not going to actually ask these questions, but they do want to know the answers. So the first question is, do you like me? Right? So how do you show a client or a customer you like them? Well, you when you're in face to face, you look them square in the eye. When you're on the phone with them, you talk to them in a way that is focused on just them. Just, you really let them know that you care about them. Actually, that leads to the next question: do you care about me? So, do you like me? Do you care about me? Care about me means, well, do you have my best interest at heart? Do you ask questions about not just what's happening with this project that we're working on together or this service you're providing, but they might make comments about, I really like your home. It's a beautiful home that you have. Or that, how are your children doing in school? Or what are some of the hobbies that you engage in personally? So they take interest in you as a person, not just a number or somebody that's going to be a transaction. So the first two are questions they have. Do you like me? And the second question is, do you care about me? Third question is, can I trust you? And that's a big one. because quite frankly, we hear it way too often where companies will promise this and they don't deliver what they promise. Or worse yet, so many of these businesses that are out there today and have been out there, they have a poor reputation for service or for quality. They promise a lot up front, but they don't deliver. So again, that gets back to that trust factor. Also, simple example of trust. We've seen it happen. You call up a contractor for some work that you need done in your house. They don't even return your call. Or if they do, it's like 2 weeks later. Oh, because they're so busy. Oh, too bad for them because they just lost you as a potential client. So, three questions so far. Do you like me? Do you care about me? Can I trust you? Are you going to do what you say you're going to do or that you say you're going to do? Uh, that's critical. And then the last one, of course, do you know what the heck you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? That's the fourth question they have for us. So, have you done this for other people like me? Has it been successful? Is it something that I'm going to be proud of? Do you really know what you're doing? Are you up on the latest trends? Are you competent? Oftentimes, we've had those experiences. We hire someone, they come out to work for us in our home, and the job is not done to the expectations that we had. It's not professionally done. So, again, those are four concerns that we have when it comes to the people that we want to buy from, or that we should be answering those questions for the people that we're selling to.
And I think it kind of is kind of not said, but in that mix of questions is people want to see consistent behavior from somebody. Like one day you're acting this way, another day you have a different personality the other day, and
Hmm.
it's you got to be really consistent with people.
Hmm.
Um, so if you're not feeling great that one day, you either got to like you know, put on a show and get yourself back to where you need to be. But people want consistent behavior and don't want to
Hmm.
be like surprised of who am I talking to today,
Yes.
when they're dealing with you. So it's really important because people don't like surprises, and
Mm-mm.
especially not when they're doing business with somebody.
That's right. They don't like those kind of surprises for sure.
Right, not those kind of surprises. All
Yeah.
right. So, what are some things that you've seen people do, or what are some pitfalls or challenges that business owners have? We can talk about a couple of these real quick. Is when it comes to retaining customers. I mean, there's a lot of things people can do to turn off customers, and one, of course, is poor customer support
Hmm.
and service. But what are some things that people do to turn people off from wanting to work with them again? And what can they do to remedy that?
Well, one thing is they might come out and do the job, but they don't follow up. That's the best time to find out if there's any problems, right? Because you can fix them, and then that person's going to be happy. But if that person sees that there's a problem, the quite door isn't quite right that they put up for you, or something's not correct, but they can live with it, it's gonna bother them, but not to the point where they call you back. But they probably won't call you back for the next job for sure, right? So what we're saying there is make sure that you follow up. That's the important thing. Did you do everything that they asked? Is there anything else they needed that you didn't quite do for them that they were expecting? And certainly, you can always plant seeds for in the future when you need us to do other jobs or other projects. We're
Hmm.
available. Whatever product or service that you're selling.
And it works even well, even with a consulting or coaching gig, or even selling a digital product or any kind of product, is just follow up in a month. I know our consulting arrangement ended, but I just wanted to call up and say hi and uh, see if there was anything else you needed, or how is everything going with the team that we worked with, because I know you
Mm-hmm.
work a lot with corporate teams
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. I'm sure you're following up, with your folks, because I know you are the king of follow up.
I try to be.
Um, yeah, I know you are. But is there another example of something people aren't doing that they could do to keep the customers happy? Have you ever done like a customer appreciation event or anything like that? Or have you seen people do that in with clients of yours, where they bring everybody together and maybe have a party or have some sort of celebration a time of year, or maybe send out a special gift? Have you ever seen things like that?
Yes. Well, many companies will practice that. They'll sell out gifts or gift baskets or maybe a Christmas gift of some kind. I think one thing I want to add though to what we were saying a moment ago,
Hmm.
not just follow up at the after the job is done, but be following up during the whole process, right? So if it's a project
Hmm.
that goes on for 3 or 4 weeks, make sure
Yeah.
to check in and say, "Hey, is everything going all right here? Anything we're not doing?" I mean, it's much easier to correct something before it's completed than after it's completed, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But back to what you're saying, as far as keeping that type of appreciation going for your clients and customers, yeah, it could be simple things like uh, sending them an Amazon gift card. Everybody's on Amazon today. Something as simple as a thank you note, just a simple handwritten thank you note can go a long ways. Another, and it could be done anytime. It doesn't have to be right after a project has been completed or a job's been done, but it could be in the middle of the year. Hey, we're just thinking about our past clients we've had over the last year, and you're one of them, and we just want to say thank you. Nothing else. No strings attached. You just say, want to say thanks. So that could be a way of appreciating them. Another way that we could show appreciation to our clients and customers is just to do things that to compliment them. About what they've done with whatever else they've done with their business. People like to be. Uh, they want to know that what they've done is quality and that they've done something right. They want to be given that praise and recognition. So that's one of the easiest ways to give back to your clients is to praise them for what they have done or have accomplished, and be sincere about it. I know some clients, what they'll do, some of my clients, what they'll do with their clients, say for instance, they're let's say they're a lawn maintenance company. So what they'll do is they'll inspect the property after they finish doing the job that day. And oh, if they see that there's a newspaper or something, or a door hanger or something, they'll knock on the door and they'll walk up and say, "Hey, by the way, here's some things that were on your doorstep. Just thought you'd want to have them in the house now before the heat gets to them," or something like that. But you just do a little bit of a follow up. You can uh, look at the lawn, and if something needs to be picked up, some uh, litter that has blown over there, to just do little things like that when the client's not looking, right? Just to do that are things that will get around and show people you really do care about them.
Yeah, those are all great advice on what to do to help people solidify that relationship between you
Hmm.
and the client,
Hmm.
or the customer. So we've come to the end of our time once again, and I want to ask you that question: is what is one piece of business marketing advice you could give to somebody? If you could only give one piece of advice, what would you tell them?
I would say that one of the best pieces of advice is treat each and every one of your clients as the one and only client that you have. Treat them as the one and only client that you have. So that means to be very uh, appreciative and go out of your way to make sure that they're more than satisfied. You do that, you won't have to worry about a whole lot of marketing. You'll get a lot of it from word of mouth, plain and simple.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Tom Borg Consulting. We appreciate you being a guest once again. If you'd like more information about our program, please visit us at www.michiganentrepreneurtv.com. Please join me again in the future when I interview another enterprising entrepreneur. Until then, wishing you the best of business.